本の平和を守っていくためにも
In order to protect Japan's peace, I will put an effort into diplomacy no matter what.
何としても
The more you read and watch about Japan's new Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi, the more it'll surprise you. She defies so many easy labels. She's spoken about the challenges of working in politics as a woman in Japan, but she now leads an ultra-traditionalist male-dominated party. She's against married women keeping their maiden names, but her husband took her name instead of her taking his, at least when she got married the second time to the same man. She's so different from the traditional woman in a patriarchal Japanese society. She's become the country's first woman prime minister, a groundbreaking achievement. But she supports male-only imperial succession. She's a heavy metal drummer, but her hero is former British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. Her parents didn't think that she needed a university education since she was a girl, but her father used his retirement savings for her political campaign. She's concerned about Japan's reliance on the US, but she also hopes to work closely with Trump. Her views are so conservative that one of her party's allies actually quit the coalition, forcing Takaichi to form an alliance with the reformist right-leaning Japan Innovation Party to maintain majority. But she's promised a cabinet with Nordic levels of women, up from 2 under the outgoing premier. She now faces a wobbly global situation with Trump forcing Japan to cut down on their trade with Russia, and she's facing multiple challenges at home, including reversing the decline of Japan's population and injecting some hope in the flatlining economy. In the past, she's backed aggressive monetary easing and expanded government spending, echoing her mentor, former Premier Shinzo Abe. Yet her victory boosted Japanese stocks to record highs. But even as the world figures out details of her life, views, and socio-political stances, and leaders figure out how it'll impact their own countries, there's one country that's clearly on guard after her election, and that is China. This because when it comes to foreign policy, Takaichi stands firm and hawkish, especially on China. She has in the past warned against the economic dependence on China and called for strengthened national defense, saying that Japan is completely looked down upon by Beijing and that Tokyo must address the security threat posed by them. She has also visited Taiwan and said that a Taiwan emergency is a Japan emergency, angering Xi and his men at a fragile time. She also supports revising Japan's pacifist constitution and has floated the idea of a quasi-security alliance with Taiwan, a stance that could further strain relations with Beijing. Also, like some of her predecessors, Takaichi used to regularly visit the controversial Yasukuni Shrine to honor Japan's war dead, including war criminals, which has historically angered China and neighbors like South Korea.
靖国神社、というのは、
Yasukuni Shrine is a peaceful facility for the war dead. I will properly judge how to pay respect to the war dead and pray for peace accordingly. This issue definitely should not be a diplomatic issue. I would like to make my best effort to establish an international environment so that we can mutually pay respect to those who lost their lives in the war for their mother countries.
As per reports, her government has signaled intent to deploy US medium-range missiles on Japanese soil and to counter Chinese maritime activities near disputed islands, placing her in a confrontational stance with Beijing. However, she seems to have toned down her anti-China rhetoric slightly ever since the prospects of her coming to power were actually concrete. Recently, she sent an offering to the Yasukuni Shrine, but decided to avoid a visit, a move likely aimed at placating the country's neighbors ahead of her expected inauguration. China seems to be in wait-and-watch mode for now. The Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman has said that China had noted the election result and described it as Japan's internal affair. He called on Tokyo to honor its political commitments on major issues including history and Taiwan. How the relationship finally pans out at a fragile time like this is what everyone will be watching out for. Hope you liked this video. For more such content, keep watching Mint.